Well, we were talking about the title of this beautiful video. We are going to see some part of it because it is a very long video, but it has very beautiful and deep and profound message. And it is called Gaining the Wealth of Inner Happiness. And well, last meeting we began to talk about this. And what is to gain? To gain is a synonym of to obtain something. And it is the opposite of to lose. So, and
like a profit.
Yes, like a profit. That's why here I put for you some examples of the usage of gain, such as you can say that you gain experience, for example, or you can gain weight in the holidays because you eat too much also. You can gain peace through meditation. You can gain wisdom. This is are examples of the usage of gain. And the opposite, to lose, here, Jose, can you read some examples of the usage of to lose in everyday language?
I always lose my keys. They lost the soccer match yesterday. Sometimes you must lose your pride to grow spiritually. He lost faith after experiencing a great tragedy.
That well. Some people have this experience, but the spiritual path tells us or teaches us that what? That in fact, the difficult times are a treasure. I like, yesterday I was watching a video from Mushi, and he said this, that difficult situations in fact are the door to awakening. I like this phrase because it gives us the opportunity to go deeper, to experience the power of God and the power that is within us to transcend these difficult situations. That difficult situations are for this, to make us aware of our power, which is the power of God, and to go beyond them. And if we learn, instead of losing our faith, if we learn from them, what happens? After that, we are more powerful and more wise. This is what happened. Okay, so this is like a summary or an introduction that of what the video is about. And it has a question at the beginning, and that leads us into the understanding of the title, to say what is that this, how can we get this wealth of inner happiness? Pablo, can you read the paragraph?
Yes.
Mm.
Would you like to experience a happiness that is all satisfying and never ends? In this video, Self-Realization Fellowship monk Brother Yogananda conveys wisdom from Paramahansa Yogananda and how we can find the true and lasting happiness that is the very nature of our soul.
It's very beautiful, this. You know that if we find this, we find everything. Why? Because he's talking about how we can find the true and lasting happiness that is the very nature of our soul. Here, he's talking about happiness, but what is different about this happiness than the happiness we know? He uses here, these are the adjectives or the keywords that I have highlighted in another color. It's a happiness that is all satisfying and never ends. We can say that it's an ending happiness or a lasting happiness. What does it mean? That is a happiness that is forever. And it's infinite. And if this has these qualities, it has these qualities. What are these qualities? God qualities. And you know that we always listen. There are things or words or something that we listen to, but it takes us sometimes for us to grasp them or to understand them. Because I'm sure that you have also listened to the phrase that, well, the world will not give you the happiness you are seeking for, but we still look for happiness outside and not inside. So we are going to start watching the video. You know that they have this methodology that at first they do a prayer and then a meditation, and then they start the talk. We are going to see a bit of the video where he talks about what is meditation, and the true meditation, we are going to do it at the end, as we do always. So let's start with this. It's only a minute and more, a bit more, but I like the way he defined what is meditation. So let's listen.
Seated. We start our services in Self-Realization Fellowship with a period of meditation. Meditation is foundational to the teachings. It was what our Guru Paramahansa Yogananda brought to the West, how to meditate. Meditation is the science and the art of stillness, of going within, of learning how to quiet the body, how to still the mind, and how to perceive within the reflection of the soul, which is, it manifests itself as peace, as joy, and as bliss, in that order. We first feel peace, then deeper peace, we find a joy. From joy, we find ever new bliss. This is the really proves to us the existence of God. And it's not only something we perceive in meditation, but as we meditate through the years, as we go deeper with meditation, we find that that perception or that consciousness, it stays with us throughout what we do in the day. Gives a whole different perspective on life, on the challenges we may be going through. It gives us a wisdom and a clarity of thinking.
Okay. Here we are. He gives a very, very brief but and simple kind of definition of what is meditation. And he starts by saying meditation is foundational to the teachings. What is foundational? Is essential, is something that is very important, is the core of the teachings of our masters. And why? Because through meditation, we make spirituality something experiential, and not for me, it was my experience. I don't know what is your experience, but this was for me the key difference between what was religion or God or spirituality for me before and after I started meditating. That through meditation, you can really experience God. And that's why it's something totally different from all we have experienced in our lives. And that's what this is true happiness. Jose, do you want to read this? This is the transcription of what he said.
It was what our Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, brought to the West how to meditate. Meditation is the sciences and the art of stillness, of going within, or learning how to quiet the body, how to still the mind, and how to perceive within the reflection of the soul, which is, it manifests itself as peace, as joy, and as bliss in that order.
Stop a bit. Let's stop because these words are very, very deep and profound. He says, what is meditation? Is the science and the art of stillness, of going within, of learning how to quiet the body, how to still the mind. You know that these are words that has to do, all the word has to do with this, to rest, to quiet, to be still, to be in silence. And this last phrase that says, it is the reflection of the soul. The reflection of the soul. And this reflection, the word reflection, is very related to what? To a mirror. And Mushi when he talks about contemplation, he gives a very clear example that has to do with this, with a mirror. He says that when we start to meditate or contemplate, we have to close the window, and instead, because what is a window? A window is something that looks outside, that we used to look outside. And the window, we can say that the window are our eyes. Our eyes are the windows to the world. So when we shut or close our eyes, and begin to look within, instead of a window, we have to put a mirror to reflect this. He is calling the reflection of the soul, because the mirror reflects inside. And what is inside us? What is the reflection of the soul? It is our essence. And if we put a mirror to reflect inside, what we will see? God, which is our essence, and is what we are. And if we withdraw our attention from the world, from the outside, and look inside, what happens? We can feel his presence. And it is what it says here. It manifests itself as peace, as joy, and as bliss. Is that with what happens when we meditate? It is just the presence of God within us that is always here, but we are not aware of it. And here, Pablo, can you go on with what he says here?
In which part?
This part. And now
Okay, yes. And it's not only something we perceive in meditation, but as we meditate through the years, as we go deeper with meditation, we find that perception of that consciousness is stay with us. Okay, stop.
Yes. Oh no, go on.
Okay, it stayed with us through what we do in the day, gives the world different perspective on life or the challenges we may be going through. It gives us a wisdom and clarity of thinking. There's no floor to it. You keep going deeper and deeper, it's still there. I think as these things are no more, this will change the consciousness of the world.
Yes. And that's...
Sorry, can you translate in Spanish a little bit? Some I understand.
We are going to bit by bit through the paragraph.
Yes.
It says, and it's not only something we perceive in meditation, but as we meditate through the years, as we go deeper with meditation, we find that perception or that consciousness, what happens? It stays with us throughout what we do in the day. That if we practice and we we are in contact with this and we can go deeper and deeper, si podemos ir cada vez más profundo, what happens? That we begin to experience that this feeling of this peace, this joy, this bliss stays with us during our activities in the day. Not only that half an hour that we meditate, but we gain this through practice. You understand this, Jose?
Yes.
And then it says, gives us a whole different perspective of life on the challenges we may be going through. It gives us a wisdom and a clarity of
Going
thinking.
through is going through, no?
Going through, atravesar.
Ah, atravesar. Yes, going through.
A través de todos los problemas o todas las cosas que hacemos en el día.
Challenge.
Yes, o de todos los desafíos que atravesamos, the difficult situations, what are challenges?
It is a different perspective of life.
Yes. Because
when there is
meditation, it transforms our life. We live, it changes what? It changes our relationship with life. This is the means that it gives us a whole is, and meaning of whole as an entire different, yes, completely different perspective of life. Because,
that's the key that I had to explain the next Friday in the workshop, because a lot of women said that don't have time in the day to make a meditation, and I had to explain this fact of the meditation. So if you meditate, then you looks the life, the day in different perspective. So that's I had to explain next Friday.
And this is the most important. That's why meditation is so important, because this half an hour that we meditate if we make it a practice and we persist, we begin to feel this, that it has an impact on all we do during all our day, because it changes the relationship we have with life, that we are not, what happens? We are not easily engaged, or we don't give so much importance at the things that happens to us. It doesn't mean that we ignore them, but we find that there is something here inside, that this peace and this joy and this bliss, that whatever happens outside doesn't change here inside. And so we can face the difficult situations and whatever happens outside with a different perspective. And this is what truly changes our life. And this expression that says here after, there is no floor to it.
¿Eso significa como que no hay una base? ¿Puede ser?
You know that when we talk in everyday language, yes, but because we are used to the expression there is no ceiling to it. O sea, vieron que siempre en español estamos acostumbrados a escuchar la expresión y no tiene, no hay techo
Tiene
para eso.
techo. Acá
Because
no hay piso.
acá no, because what? Because we always talk about going higher or going. Nosotros hablamos siempre de ir más allá, más alto, de evolucionar, de ir, de estar mejor. And here he's talking about going deeper, deeper. So that's why he uses floor
Claro.
instead of ceiling.
Deep.
And that's why it seems strange for us. There is no floor to it. We are used to the opposite. But that's why he uses the expression that this is something very, very beautiful about meditation. That
Como que no hay que ir tan lejos.
no, lo que está diciendo que the more we practice, the
Yes,
more
yes,
deeper
yes.
we go, and the more beautiful it is. Que no existe un fin, no hay final para eso. Siempre podemos ir por más y cada vez, as long as we practice it, we gain more peace and more happiness, and this there is not floor. It means that it always can be. We find more. As we practice, we find more and more and more.
Different
And that's
level
why, yes, yes.
of deeper meditation and happiness.
Yes, that's why it has this power of giving us a different whole perspective of our lives. It's tremendous the impact that meditation can have in our life. That's why Jesus said, first God, and then first, no, the kingdom of heaven, and then all other things will be added to you. And this is the example, the clear example. If we have this, we have everything. Everything changes, everything autocorrects us in our external life, as Mushi said. Because by this, what happens? Why our life is transformed and changes so much? Because by doing this, we bring the presence of God to our life. And not only this is something, and why it is so important? Because it is not something that benefits only us. It benefits a lot of people, all our environment. It's we are not aware of the power that this has. Okay, my friends, let's go on and let's watch a bit more of the video where he talks about this false notion of happiness that we have in our world. Here, I think it is.
Now, in the with the world and happiness and how people are seeking it, there's a false notion out there that somehow, well, how would you say it? Having, that happiness comes from having a good time. If you look around you, this is the way things are pretty much advertised or put forward today. That if you're in the right environment, if you have the right people around you or conveniences or possessions, somehow that's going to give you happiness. It's kind of accepted. We grow up with this. You know, you'll see a cruise ship with all of the many, many things you can do on it, and you realize, oh, look, all these people are happy. If I could just get on that ship, I'd have happiness. It's true that these things can bring us a sense of happiness, and our guru even says that if you're striving for some goal and you attain it, that in itself gives you a happiness. But the problem with it is that that kind of happiness, it has a beginning and it has an end. The Bhagavad Gita tells us that. And just because it has a beginning and an end, it's imperfect. It certainly gives you happiness, makes you feel good, but then there's a fall off as it ends. In the Gita, it also says that just the anticipation of it ending brings grief. Happiness, we're all seeking it. This is why we go through life. This is why we have desires, likes and dislikes, all of it. We're trying for happiness. We're looking for happiness, but we're looking in the wrong places. Our guru says, if you possess happiness, you possess everything. To be happy is to be in tune with God. So it is a noble goal, but we have to adjust the way we go after it.
Okay. This is what happens, that we have a false notion of happiness. That is why we look for happiness in the wrong place, he says. And I like this, that he says that there is nothing wrong with the happiness of the world. But what happens? That it's imperfect. It's imperfect because it has a beginning and an end. And that just the anticipation of this gives us grief. It's just like this. Think about this. What happens when we are going on holidays or we are going on, we are going to we know we will have rest, we will go to a beautiful place and for a week, for instance. But just in the middle, we begin to think that, oh, this is beautiful, but it will end. And just, we begin to suffer.
In a few days, finish.
Yes, it's over. And well,
has the date of expiration, happiness.
Yes. It expires, yes. It has an expiration date. Yes, that is. Well, so we can read this. I left these numbers because they mark in which part of the video it is the talk. Okay, so let's read these phrases so we can talk about since
this false
false
notion of happiness out there that somehow, how you say it. Una pregunta. ¿Cómo se lee esto que está in the line?
Between the lines, yes.
Between the lines.
How would you say it? How would you say it? I left it because it is a common expression that they say when they talk. In usual, es como how the same as we say in Spanish, that is ¿cómo decirlo? A ver, ¿cómo te lo digo? ¿Cómo te lo explico?
Ok. Entonces lo pone así entre líneas.
Because he's explaining the false notion of happiness. Why he says that the notion that everyone has of happiness is something that is false. It is not true.
Okay, I read again. This false notion of happiness out there that somehow, how you say it,
how would you
say it?
I will tell you something that will help you with pronunciation.
Yes.
That in these words like good, could, should, that they are very common words.
Good.
Yes, good. Good and should. They are all they had some nuances, but they all refer to the same, like in must, for example, or have to. Son todas palabras que tienen que ver con los potenciales y con las obligaciones. Tener que hacer algo, deber hacer algo, yes. Or poder hacer algo. And you know that they are spelled very similarly, could, should, and would. Lo que te quiero decir es que en estas palabras la L nunca se pronuncia. Entonces directamente y la O tampoco. Entonces vos decís could, would, should. It's always the same. So here you say,
who would should say it, the happiness
how would you say it? Repeat. How would you say it?
How would you say?
Very
the
good.
Happiness comes from having a good time. If you look around you, this is the way things are pretty much adversive or path forward today.
Just stop a minute.
Or path forward.
Yes, if you look around you, this is the way things are pretty much advertised or put forward today. What is this? You can repeat. This is the way things are pretty much advertised or put forward today.
This is the way things are pretty much advertised or put forward today.
Very good. And what is to advertise or to put forward? Advertise comes from advertisement. Es un aviso, publicitario.
Advertencia, claro.
No, un aviso publicitario, to advertise.
Okay.
And they use, you will see that they use a lot, the contraction. Instead of advertisement, they say an ad, to put an ad on the newspaper, for example, or internet. The word ad means this, un aviso, una publicidad de algo. And this, you know that they use a lot, phrasal verbs. And this phrasal verb, put forward, vieron que put solo quiere decir ponerse algo, put on, put off, or take off, or put something on the table, poner. But this, when you add the preposition, the meaning changes completely. So put, it has nothing to do with put forward. Put forward means, for instance, you can say to put forward an opinion or an idea is to suggest or to propose, or to make a suggestion, for example. Or you can say to nominate. They use it is used with candidates for the elections. To put forward a candidate is to nominate something officially, to do something. Something can be put forward by as a president. Yes, this is the but in this context, he's using it as a synonym of advertising or promoting. That's why he says there is a way things are advertised or put forward today. Quiere decir, es la forma en que la mayoría de nos presentan las cosas en este o las cosas son es así como funcionan las publicidades hoy en día, que nos venden, es lo que nos quieren vender, eso es lo que está diciendo él. Que nos venden ¿qué? Que un crucero, unas vacaciones, un auto nuevo, qué sé yo, todo eso es lo que nos va a dar la verdadera felicidad. But it is not like this. So, what happened? That they are saying us that if what?
¿Quién
Here.
respondió yo? O Pablo. Pablo,
yes.
yo, Pablo. Yo.
What?
That if you're in the right environment, if you have the right people around you, or convenience or possession, conveniences, el acento es conveniences, yes, or possessions, somehow that's going to give you happiness.
Okay.
It's yes.
And well,
continue. Yes.
Continue a bit more.
It is kind of accepted. It is kind of accepted. This is yes, how we grew up with this. You know, you'll see a Christ ship with all of the many things you can do on it. You can do on it, and you realize, oh, look, all these people are happy. If I could just get on that ship, it have happiness. I had happiness.
This is the contraction. Have happiness is the contraction of good. I could have happiness. If I could get on that ship, I could have happiness. But what is the problem?
What? But the problem with is that dice, son dos no.
Is that, you see, is that kind of happiness.
Okay. Pensé que se había repetido. But the problem with is that kind of happiness, it has a beginning and it has an end.
And Pablo,
okay.
Yes. Let's. Pablo, can you go on? What says the
yes,
Bhagavad Gita about
yes, okay. Bhagavad Gita tells us that, and just because it has a beginning at the end, it's imperfect. It certainly gives you happiness, make you feel good, but then there's follows its ends, and in the Gita, it's also said that just the anticipation and the ending bring grief.
Yes, and I highlighted here that there is another phrasal verb that you know that they
fall of us. Yes,
and it is this in this context. It is not the most usual meaning of fall off. That's why I give you the other meanings, because if you find, you may find this verb in other contexts and it means something different. To fall off es caerse, to drop. But in this context, it means to decrease or to become less intense. It fall off as it ends. Es como perder intensidad, perder fuerza. Because
fall is the same as falling in love?
Yes, to fall in love. Yes.
Okay.
Because what is to fall in love? Exacto, you fall. And
like a fool.
Yes, this is the example. The fall that
careful.
means drop. For instance, yes, let's read the examples.
Be careful, the book might fall off the shelf.
Might fall off the shelf. The
Might
drop
fall off the shelf.
se puede caer, el libro se puede caer del estante. The book might drop from the shelf. Or this is another expression that I put it because it may be for us that the one who use bikes, it happens sometimes, and it is the way of saying this in English that I didn't know about it. My bike chain fell off while I was riding. The typical phrase, se me salió la cadena. How?
Yes.
And we use it figuratively also. Se te salió la cadena. When the right.
But it's no expression in English. Se me salió la cadena de la bicicleta.
Yes.
Pero
the chain became detached. Well, okay. And this is another expression that is common also. One of the bottoms of my shirt fell off. Cuando se te salen los botones de la camisa. Fell off. Fell off, Se me salió el botón. Vieron que muchas veces, coseme que se me salió el botón. Fell off. If you want to say it, the next time you can practice, Pablo with Andrea, you can tell her. My bottom fell off. Could you?
My mother-in-law is, ¿cómo se dice? Costurera.
A dressmaker. A dressmaker.
Dressmaker.
Yeah. The other day we were talking with, I teach classes to Silvana, the sister of
Anita.
Of Anita. And she also told me that we were talking about clothes, winter clothes, and yes, in winter we use a lot knitted clothes. Knitted es tejido, cosas tejidas. And from this word, I say that knitted comes from to knit, que es tejer. And that when we were children, when we were very used to learn to knit because our grandmothers teach us how to knit and she told me, well, my grandmother and my mother didn't, but my mother was also a dressmaker and told us to sew. To sew is to coser. And the sewing machine es la máquina de coser. That all of us had there was a sewing machine at our homes when we were little, because our grandmother or our mother, yes, there were.
My mother-in-law is fabulous.
Dressmaker. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It's. I admire that. They do that. The magic they have.
But Andrea learned a little bit
from her. But she does another very beautiful things with drawings and paintings and.
No, when you need to make a change something in the clothes.
Mhm.
They make magic. So
Yes. To adjust to
Your
yes.
mother, Pablo, your
my
mother.
mother-in-law.
What is the mother-in-law? La suegra.
Mother-in-law, yes.
In-law, they use for all lo que nosotros le decimos los parientes políticos. Por eso
Yes.
ellos dicen brother-in-law, es cuñado, sister-in-law, todo in-law le agregan para decir, no tienen como nosotros.
Distintas palabras, sí.
Claro, que sería mi hermana política, vieron que nosotros decimos, la familia política, la llamamos
Like Vito, with you.
Yes, Vito is my sister-in-law.
But
Okay.
my Jose, my mother-in-law is like my mother. I love like my mother.
Yes.
And my
yes.
father-in-law.
It happens the same with me and my mother-in-law. That technically she is my ex-mother-in-law, but it's my mother for him.
A lot of people think that I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Yes, because it is not
usually
something usual. Yes, it's not something usual, but it's
No.
it's a blessing.
Well, yes, it's something usual, but we escuchamos no más de lo otro negativo.
Yes, and it is a manifestation also. This has to do with unconditional love, and when we go deeper and there is no floor to it, as the monk says, with love happens the same as with meditation, that when we begin to go deeper in our essence and in the knowing of who we are really, what we discover, that we are all the same. And if we are all the same in our essence, this opens the door to unconditional love, because we begin to love that this very, very, very small circle of that we have and we are touched, o sea, ese círculo bien tan estrecho y tan pequeñito que nosotros tenemos, that we think that we can only love our family, our friends, and it begins to extend to everyone in the world. But because, and we not just begin to understand, but to feel that what happened, that there are no good persons and bad persons. What happens is that there are many persons that they don't know who they are. And they have to what? They ignore. So that's why Guruji says that the main difficulty or problem, let's say, of the humankind is what? Ignorance. Ignorance of our true nature. That's why Jesus in the cross said, Father, forgive him, because they don't know what they are doing. And this is, our life begins to really change when we begin to go deeper in this. Eso es como la clave de la espiritualidad. Que ustedes, yo se los voy a decir en español para que entre todos lo podamos como ver mejor, ¿no? que decimos, ese es el verdadero cambio, porque nosotros nos pasamos la vida. ¿Cuántos años hace que sabemos, por ejemplo, esta frase de Jesús? ¿Desde cuánto hace que la venimos escuchando? Pero de verdad, ¿cuánto hace que de verdad la comprendemos? ¿Sabemos qué quiere decir eso? ¿Mm? Y creo que la espiritualidad, spirituality gives us, and not only the true understanding, but the experience, the experiencing of this. Porque el gran cambio no es no cuando uno lo entiende con la cabeza o con la mente, es cuando uno lo empieza a vivir. Well, my friends. And
we are all the ignore that all we are
ignorant,
son of God. And
yes.
when you understand that all the human beings are our son, you change the way you look the life.
Yes, it's completely, this is an example of what means a whole change of perspective of your life. And that's why it is so important. And this phrase, I like it. To be happy is to be in tune with God. Yes. This is true happiness. When we are aligned, when we are connected with Him, all is, there are no problems. I don't know if you watch Jose yesterday, the gem of the week. I remember the gem of the week is it's like once a week on Friday afternoons. All the followers of Mushi, you can join the page, and we meet at 3 p.m. In the afternoon to watch a video or something, a video of by Zoom, or by Zoom. Something that Mushi has said during the week. And in this video of yesterday, she said, there are no problems. What are the problems? Who has problems? The person has problems. Yes, and it's porque si nos ponemos a pensar, ¿quién tiene problemas? La persona. And what are your problems? Todas cosas que vos, o con otro, o que alguien otro te hizo. When you, yes, mine. If you, or that happens to you as a person, when you realize what you really are, all problems vanished. It doesn't mean that they don't exist anymore, but you take them with another perspective. It is what we are talking about. Uno se los toma de otra forma, porque sabe que, in fact, they are not real. That we are the sons of God, and everyone and everything and everywhere. That is that when we begin to assimilate this, that all is God. And he has another very beautiful phrase. With this we finish, that he says, God is everywhere, but he only enters the heart who yearns for him. It's very beautiful, this phrase. Como que sí, es verdad, Dios está en todas partes, pero solo va a entrar en el corazón de aquel que lo busca.
Pasala después esa. en mi grupo, por favor. Hermosa.
It's very beautiful. Well, my friend, so in our next meeting, if you después lo voy a poner en el grupo, pero no sé si vos estabas, José, ya cuando viste que la semana que viene está el retiro de música, que es viernes, sábado y domingo, pero el viernes es feriado acá. Entonces podemos tener la clase, el próximo encuentro del taller puede ser el viernes a la mañana, el viernes que viene a la mañana.
Yo sí.
Y ahí podemos todo. Así no perdemos la clase, porque después nosotros el sábado y el domingo
El
también.
viernes 20.
El viernes 20.
Yo no
vas a estar.
O sea, lo tomo como el retiro. No, todavía no sé si voy a participar. Aún, ahí estoy viendo, pero 2021 I'm retreat.
Yes, pero el retiro empieza al mediodía, por eso te decía, empieza al mediodía nuestro. Entonces podemos tener la clase a la mañana. Bueno, eso obviamente que queda a criterio tuyo. Pero podemos tener la clase a la mañana y después nos unimos al retiro y ya sí, ya ahí empieza el retiro. Well,
Perfecto.
to end with this, this is a very beautiful video. Next meeting we will go on with this, but today we are going to end with the meditation of the... Vamos a terminar, vamos a hacer la meditación que él hace al principio. To finish with this beautiful meeting. A ver que me voy a fijar. Yo acá me había anotado en qué minuto empieza la meditación. Acá. Ok.
With us, change our consciousness, change those around us, change our surroundings. It's as profound and as deep as you're willing to dive into it. There's no floor to it. You keep going deeper and deeper, it's still there. So this morning we'll go as deep as we can, and that means sitting upright, keep the spine straight. The eyes are gently upturned to the point between the eyebrows, the seat of spiritual consciousness. Our Guru said it's called Kutastha in Indian scriptures, the spiritual eye, the Christ consciousness center. So when the eyes are focused here gently, your consciousness is raised. And from that point, you practice techniques if you know them. If you know no techniques, just start perceiving that stillness within and try to go deeper and deeper into that stillness. And you start perceiving that peace. Let's chant, "The door of my heart open wide I keep for thee." Door of my heart open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, just for once come to me. Wilt thou come, just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day. Nice to be with you all. So this morning we have a subject by the title of Gaining the Wealth.
Well, my friend, thank you for this beautiful morning and the opportunity to share all the teaching that helps us going deeper. And today we have learned a phrase that in English, to say it in English, to say there is no floor to it. We can always go deeper and deeper and deeper. Oh, wow. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a beautiful
Good
weekend. And see you. See you soon, always. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gary.